right, let's bring in our Indian Hasan Brown correspondent who will give me more information. Yes. It's time for Arun and now. Let me see if he's here still.
What's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on? Or is your
What's going on,
camera?
bro? Hold on a second. My camera quality is gonna be kind of shit.
It's all good.
Yeah, because I'm at my parents' house at the moment. It's an extended Pongal break.
That's nice. All right. Let me just pop this out real quick.
Yeah.
All right. What's happening? What's going on?
So,
Talk to us.
so basically, what's happening in Iran and Pakistan right now is, in order to understand what's going on there, you have to basically understand this region called Balochistan. And Balochistan is a sort of region that um, that basically it basically straddles both Iran and Pakistan, and it is home to the ethnic Baloch people. Um, and the thing is, shit, my hair's all fucked up. But the basically, so the people in Balochistan in both Iran and Pakistan have been basically, and Afghanistan as well, have been horribly mistreated by their respective governments. And that for the past several decades has led to insurgency within the region. The one of the groups that so what started the Pakistan attacks in Iran was that Iran struck Pakistan in the Balochistan region, and the claim is that from the Iranian side is that the people that they attacked were members of Jaish al-Adli, who is the successor militant group to Jandala. And Jandala is a separatist group in Iran that is, you can say it's a Salafist group in that is supposedly based out of Pakistan. They're claiming they're based out of Pakistan, but they're most active in the Sistan and Baluchistan province in Iran. And so, in response, what Pakistan did was they attacked what they considered to be, they basically attacked what they considered to be hideouts for the BLF and the BLA, the Balochistan Liberation Army, and the Balochistan Liberation Force, or the Balochistan Liberation Force, the BLF and the BLA. So the real players in here, so a lot of people are very tempted to think of it as like, is this an Iran versus Iran versus Pakistan thing? That is not the way you should be looking at this whatsoever. The way you should be looking at this is both the militant groups in their respective regions in Pakistan and Iran have been giving the state apparatuses of both countries massive trouble. And so what they're both trying to do right now is that they are trying to basically squash the Baloch, I guess, insurgent movements in both Iran and Pakistan. I'll stop there.
Wait, a questions I have for you. Is the Balochistan Liberation Front? You said that they are not them directly. They're not Salafists, right?
No, so Baloch Liberation. No, I said the successor to Jandala is. So the ones that Iran attacked were Salafists.
Okay, so because the Baloch Liberation Army, is it still Marxist?
I mean, at this point, it means nothing at this point. Like, they're not really Marxist at this point. I mean, as far as like a lot of Marxism in South Asia, it's not as like a lot of the Marxists in South Asia are not
nationalist movements,
yeah,
right?
it's more nationalist,
ethnic liberation.
Point, yeah.
Okay.
So it's basically more of a national liberation movement. Again, like all militant groups, they've also committed like heinous crimes against civilians as well. But the same, claims can be leveled at both the Pakistan and the Iranian states. So that's basically like what you can sort of say. So that's sort of the crux of this sort of conflict right now. As obviously you can imagine, a lot of people in Pakistan right now are very wired up, or they're very wound up about the whole situation, because uh, again, like as with a lot of people in the region, they can be fired up into nationalism very quickly, and likewise in Iran as well. Now, the reason I know about all this in the first place is because the stuff that I've been covering recently, as of late, was about the Baloch protests in Pakistan, as Nerd That Was Promised is mentioned. So basically, as of for like the past, sorry, go ahead.
I didn't say anything.
Okay, so basically, for the past like, for the past several decades or so, the Pakistani state has been effectively disappearing Baloches for like the past. They've been disappearing Baloches, basically accusing them of, terrorism. The sort of the standard talking points that you would hear. They're terrorists because they're supposedly affiliated with the BLF. They are BLA, so on and so forth, right? And so they have been disappeared
as one
as
does.
one does. Exactly, as any state does, right?
I would want to know. I think it would be interesting. This is a suspicion, but I wonder what kind of surveillance technology they're using, and if there's any credence there, or any kind of, I don't know, because like I remember reading a little bit about potentially China utilizing Israeli surveillance technology in their mass surveillance campaign against Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang under the boundaries that were identical to every other country that does stuff like this all the time. Whenever there's like a separatist movement, I wonder if Pakistan.
I'm not too sure about I don't know what the involvement with regards to surveillance is. A lot of the disappearances isn't like the surveillance state in Pakistan is not as sophisticated as what you would find in Xinjiang, not by a long shot. What you're basically just like what you're seeing is like it's been happening for decades at this point. This is not a new thing, right? And this has largely led to what the Baloch have basically termed a Baloch genocide. There's been a systematic erasure. So Jaish al-Adli is the Sunni Salafist group that is also a secessionist group in Iran that Iran claims to have attacked in Pakistan.
So here's the question then. These aren't joint operations, obviously, but is that the major point of contention here? Like, why is Pakistan upset if they themselves are also clearing out any kind of Balochist separatist movements in their own borders?
It's a mix of two reasons. So, and this is just me speculating at the moment. So the thing is, what has actually happened is Iran, when they attacked Pakistan, actually did kill civilians. So understandably, Pakistanis are very up in arms about that because obviously when you attack civilians as another state, you're obviously the citizens are going to be very pissed off, understandably so.
For sure.
But it's always been that the Baloch separatism has always been sort of a hot potato between Iran and Pakistan. That's been the one thing that has kind of soured the relationship a little bit. And then the other factor in that is India, because India's involvement in all of this is that it is, to my knowledge, India has
Stand by.
What's going on?
No, I'm just nothing. I'm just saying India is standing back and standing by. They seem to appreciate it. I mean, they immediately well, I mean, it's surprising because wait, didn't they align with Iran or Pakistan in this?
India's more in line with Iran.
Yeah, which is
because again, they're more in line with Iran on this because so similar to how so whenever the topic of Kashmir is brought up with regards to India, India's usual talking point counter to that is Balochistan. And both states are right, both India and Pakistan are right in that human rights abuses were committed and continue to be committed in both Kashmir by both states and Kashmir and Balochistan. So the Indian state still continues to engage in war crimes as well as committing human rights abuses in the Kashmir Valley. But at the same time, Pakistan also continues to commit human rights abuses in Balochistan too. So it's both, right?
Chat,
So
he's
it's
not.
used as a
Wait, can you clarify your Kashmir position? I don't think you're saying that Pakistan is committing human rights abuses in Kashmir. You're saying
no, I'm
Pakistan is
saying
committing
India
human
is.
rights abuses in. You're saying India is committing human rights abuses in Kashmir, which is correct, and you're saying that Pakistan is committing human rights abuses against Baloch
Balochistan.
separatists. Yes, before
Not just
people
Baloch separatists, so Balochistan in
or
general.
Balochistan in general. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
So basically it's again the Baloch separatism has been a constant pretense within the Pakistani state as a way of basically just kidnapping and disappearing random Baloch students. So, for example, in like universities in Punjab province and Karachi University, for example, there have been random Baloch students that have been abducted by the Pakistani state, by the Pakistani police, on basically no suspicion whatsoever. And effectively, this had reached a boiling point in Pakistan, which has led to a mass movement, largely spearheaded by figures like Mahrang Baloch. Highly recommend you look her up. But there was a recent walk from Quetta, which is the capital of Balochistan, all the way to the capital of Pakistan, Islamabad. It was led by women, as chat says. Yes. So it was a movement that was led by women from from Quetta, Balochistan. We'll get to Gwadar in a second because Gwadar kind of is important here. From Quetta all the way to Islamabad. That's a long way. Yeah, they walked a long time, and once they reached Islamabad, you had obviously the cops and the army. Basically, it was mostly the local cops in Islamabad. Basically, attack, separate, do basically cop tactics. They were attacking protesters with water cannons, so on and so forth, and they were basically trying to send the Baloch back to Balochistan, basically. So what I was saying, chat, was that in a similar way to how India has committed human rights abuses in Kashmir, when those human rights abuses are brought up, India immediately counters that with, "Hey, what about Balochistan? Like, what about you guys in Balochistan? You guys are also committing human rights abuses in Balochistan," which is true.
Who's arming? Who do you think is arming the separatist movements there? Is there any testament to like? Because in a lot of instances,
Is very likely India, if anything.
yeah, I was gonna say in a lot of
It's very likely
instances,
India.
you will always have regional actors that genuinely work to arm separatist movements, or even if their cause is just. By the way, like Kurds are a great example of this. Obviously,
Yeah.
like Kurds are 35 million in the region, ethnic minority that is stateless. They have an autonomous zone in like northern Iraq given to them by the
Yeah.
United States of America, obviously. But like beyond that, there's not much. Beyond that, the United States will often arm Kurdish militias and then and support them until they fuck off, and then allow Turkey to come in and just wipe them out entirely.
Right.
Is there like a similar thing happening here?
Yeah, I mean, Balochistan is the Balochistan independence movement, however, like, justified it is, and it is, in a sense, the material conditions for the Baloch people have been atrocious for the past several decades. I mean, right now, the desire for independence at the moment is very low in Balochistan, or at least in Pakistan right now, it's like 33%. But the material conditions for the Balochistan province in both Iran and Pakistan are, quite frankly speaking, they're atrocious. So Balochistan, the Sistan and Balochistan province in Iran and the Balochistan province in Pakistan are respectively the poorest regions in each country. And contrary to popular belief, CPEC, which is the Chinese-Pakistan Economic Corridor, has not helped that situation either, because a lot of the workers that are working, which is So Gwadar is another port in Pakistan, which is crucial for their deal at the moment. And so basically, one of the consequences is that the economic conditions for Baloch fishermen have actually worsened because of the economic deal, because Chinese workers that have been imported into the country, that have been brought into the country to work the ports, have actually displaced the local fishermen in a way. So basically, and it's partially due to the fact that there is a constant. There's also sort of an ethnic sentiment angle in Pakistan as well, in that a lot of people within the Baloch, Saraiki, and Pashtun ethnic groups tend to be very pissed off at the Pakistani establishment, which has traditionally been dominated by the Punjabis and the Sindhis, right? So the current establishment right now, um, again, I'm just saying, like, this is an overall sentiment that I've seen, is that the current establishment of Pakistan is currently run, like, for example, the Bhutto family is largely speaking Sindhi. They're Sindhi speakers. The PML party that's why the PPP party, chat, don't laugh. The Pakistan People's Party is dominant in Sindh, right? The PMLN party is largely dominant in the Punjab province of Pakistan. And so, because for a long time, these two regions have dominated Pakistani politics, there's been a large, resentment from places like Balochistan, KPK, even the Pakistan administered parts of Kashmir as well, Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. So there's also that angle to that as well.
This is all happening as in the aftermath of Imran Khan's ouster as well. Even though I feel like these are all things that were already occurring under his reign too, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, Imran Khan has not been the best of allies. I mean, the CPEC was really strengthened under Imran Khan's rule,
Yeah.
which has worsened the economic conditions for the Baloch fishermen in Gwadar. But Imran Khan has also not been kind to other minorities, especially, like, the way I think of Imran Khan is that he's not as open, or he's not as directly beholden to American State Department interests like the current administration is.
Yeah.
But he's no saint either, right? When he was in power, he was absolutely not kind to, for example, the Hazara ethnic group, who are originally from Afghanistan, but have left due to the persecution by the Taliban and the Mujahideen at the time.
So here, that's actually great that you brought that up, because it dovetails into what I wanted to talk about. Because, like, the current Afghan policy, or not the current Afghan policy, sorry, the current Pakistan policy of mass deportation is I mean, it's been happening since October. And
so the date to get rid of all the Afghans was November 1st. So the date to deport all of them has already been passed.
Yeah, and there are 4 million that reside in Pakistan, and an estimated 1.7 million, according to the Council for Foreign Relations, is undocumented. So my question there is, I guess, is that if this is a continuation of Imran Khan's policies, like, why is this still happening? Does America just look the other way? Because, like, the current administration is supposed to be way more pro US.
So I don't have a solid answer for this, actually, because, I mean, so I was talking about this with Animated Sarah on Twitter, who's in the chat right now, and we've been going back and forth about this as to, like, trying to figure out a reason why this might be happening. The thing is, America was actually giving money to Pakistan to keep those to keep Afghan citizens within Pakistan, especially the ones that have more recently come from Afghanistan to Pakistan. So this actually, Pakistan deporting Afghan citizens actually goes very much against American state policy, actually. So it's not my guess is, I think it ultimately boils down to it's just like they have probably the Pakistani state has largely thought of these guys as an economic liability, which is actually not true. These are basically so for the Americans in the audience, it's similar to how undocumented immigrants from Central America come to America. They work all the low paying jobs and they get treated like shit most of the time because they're undocumented.
Yeah.
In much of a similar way, the Afghans in Pakistan don't have proper citizenship. They don't have any proper documentation or anything. And they're forced to basically, work odd jobs, and they're forced to work very low paying jobs. My
Another
guess
another
is
analog is Turkey with Syrian migrants, Syrian refugees. Turkey was
right.
paid by the European Union to the tune of billions of dollars, specifically so that the Erdogan regime could take in, so that the Erdogan regime would take in, to the tune of I think like almost 10 million Syrian migrants. That estimation varies. Some say 4, some say 10. It is not an insignificant amount. It's a very significant amount for a country that is not super wealthy, just like Pakistan, and the material interests there, as far as I understand it, are nearly identical. It gives you an opportunity to utilize this migrant population as a cudgel. You utilize this against the European Union politically. You can always say, "Hey, we will release the Syrian migrants into the Greek border if you don't, do whatever we want to do." And then also, it gives a political opportunity, I assume, to the Pakistani government, but it also allows you to do like domestic decisions as well and take advantage of the migrant population that you can force to do backbreaking labor without any sort of serious protection.
Yeah, I would generally speaking say that is the case in I would generally speaking say that is the case in Pakistan. Like that, so they've been basically used as basically a free labor force in much of a similar way. In But the deportation has not of Afghan citizens has not just been, first off, as animated Sarah said, Afghans that are refugees in Pakistan, many of whom are born and raised in Pakistan, they have known Pakistan as their home. They don't know anything about Afghanistan. They've never been to Afghanistan. They've never seen Afghanistan before. They have been basically forced. They've been packed in shipping containers, like the stuff that you'd see on like U-Hauls and stuff, and they were dropped into Afghanistan immediately. But it wasn't just limited to that either. Um, it wasn't just limited to that either. There were cops that were taking. So Pashtuns are another ethnicity that straddle a border. In this case, the Pashtuns also straddle Afghanistan and Pakistan, right? So the Pakistani state, in addition to deporting Afghan citizens that were never allowed to become citizens of Pakistan, they decided to. There are cases of Pashtuns, ethnic Pashtuns, who are Pakistani Pashtuns whose family has always been on the Pakistani side of the border, by virtue of the fact that they are Pashtun. On top of the fact that Pashtuns are an ethnic group that straddles both sides of the border, they've also been deported. There are cases of Pashtuns also being deported to Afghanistan too.
Yeah,
There are also cases of that as well.
it's I mean, I don't know what to say other than it's just totally fucked. I still don't understand the timing of this back and forth with respect to the Pakistani retaliation with respect to like the Iranian um with the Iranian first strike that I find rather odd to do in this specific moment. Like I don't know why Iran is engaging with separatists in Balochistan when they're in the
It's
midst of a much larger conflict against Israel and the United States of America in the region.
Well, so another reason that they think, so this is why, I mean, another reason is that there are, and this is probably going to be the bingo moment for you in chat. There have been reports, again, I think the leader of the predecessor of the group they just attacked, so Jaish al-Adli, its predecessor was a group called Jandala. Um, And there have been reports that say that Jundallah received U.S. training and funding.
Wait. This is okay. Can you confirm this? Iran's claim is that Jaish al-Dal am I saying that right? Or
Worked with
al-Adl?
ISIS-K and Mossad to help with the attack in Kerman. It was related
Yeah.
to the Iranian missile strikes in Iraq and Syria.
Yeah.
Very likely, yes. They view so yes. The Iran's claim is that Jaish al-Adli and his predecessor Jundallah are more aligned with the United States, basically. So that's why. That's another reason why Iran might be attacking these guys at this moment.
Okay. And instead of working, I mean, I guess the thing I still don't understand is like why there's no cooperation within Pakistan and Iran in order to deal with potentially ISIS-K aligned Salafist militias that I suspect Pakistan itself would not be super fond of, unless this is, I assume, I don't want to make any assertions here, but I unless I assume that the American State Department is giving Pakistan leeway in dealing with Afghan refugees inside of its borders, specifically so that they can win a curry favor within in the upcoming election, curry favor within the population that is like very angry about plenty of people, as far as I understand, are very angry about Imran Khan's ouster.
Yes.
And also looking the other way on the reality that everyone from his party are also being like arrested. It's mass suppression. It's like anti-democratic. These are things that America would usually use as just cause to immediately implement sanctions, immediately do like widespread condemnation. The American State Department has been suspiciously quiet on that kind of thing. And maybe they're quiet on that kind of thing because the current Pakistani regime is cooperative with the American State Department interests in opening up a new front, or rather moving the attention away from Gaza.
I would say that is a
bandwidth.
possibility. I would say that's a possibility. Nothing is confirmed quite yet. I would chalk that up to speculation at the moment. But again, I wouldn't put it past the current bilateral relations between America and Pakistan. I would not like, if that was the conclusion, if that was the correct conclusion, I would not be surprised by that, basically.
Okay.
In a sense, it's kind of like what Nerd is saying. Pakistan is significantly more loyal to the U.S. than to Iran in that case. So you could kind of say that Iran kind of views Pakistan with a bit of suspicion in that sense, because of Pakistan's more open align, or at least the Pakistan military's alignment with the U.S.
Yeah.
So that alignment might be a factor in a sort of hindrance that both Iran and Pakistan are between Iran and Pakistan cooperating on taking out these militants. But at the same time, I do want to say this, right? Again, it's very easy to get caught up in the sort of the geopolitics and the war games of it all, but there are real people living within both sides of these borders. Like I said earlier, right? Sistani-Baluchistan in Iran is the poorest region in Iran. It is the most neglected region in Iran, and vice versa for Pakistan. Balochistan is the poorest region in Pakistan by far. It's because both countries have treated their have been treating their Baloch populations like complete trash. When the Masa Amini protests were happening, there were also protests happening in, I believe, in Zahedan province, which is again a sister province to Sistan and Baluchistan. And the Iranian state they massacred roughly 100 people that were protesting again. Let me see the Amnesty International. Here's the Amnesty International link for that. Yeah, so in Iran there was a new wave of there was a there's a wave of protests that happened in the wake of the Massa Amini protests. And another angle that doesn't get talked about
The
with regard
Zahedan
to
massacre, is that what you're talking about?
yes, the Zahedan massacre. Yes. So
Yeah.
roughly 100 people. Yeah, roughly 100 people were
96
killed by the
protesters were killed, 300 injured. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically the thing to keep in mind, chat, is that there are real people living in these borders that have been constantly fucked over by both states. It's like that's the thing you guys need to understand. It's very easy to get lost in the theatrics of, is first off, chat, Pakistan is not going to nuke Iran. That's crazy. I don't know. I saw a couple of people in chat saying that, but no, obviously not. It's easy to get lost in the theatrics, but it's important to realize that like people are really being affected by sort of what Iran and Pakistan have been doing to them for the past several decades. There's a reason that there's still an independence movement in both Iran and Pakistan with regards to the Baloch people. It's very easy to get lost in that. It's very easy to forget that. So I just want to like keep that in mind as well. I just want chat to remember that as well, because
I mean, I think I do think that there's still, I mean, there's more that these the governments could do for these people, but I do think that there's obviously external factors at play that make it even harder for any kind of global cooperation to occur or any kind of like genuine development to happen as well. It's something that you see in obviously poor regions in poor countries all the time. Not to say that that is the only reason, and there is no.
Right.
There's no real there's no real justification for security crackdowns on any kind of separatist or any kind of real separatist group whatsoever. I've maintained that consistently throughout my coverage of like Xinjiang as well. No matter how reactionary people might
my
get.
take is that yeah, there are going to be militant groups that are going to necessarily align with I think obviously like the fact that the BLF and the BLA are, they've received training from India. I mean, again, allegedly, right? But I think that says more to their current political condition, that they have to they like a lot of people have been tired of the lack of due process in Iran and Pakistan locally, which is why they're reaching out to, India, for example, for help in that regard. And in that this happens all the time for militant groups across the world. That's always been sort of my take on that. What are the BLF and the BLA? So BLF are the Balochistan Liberation Force. BLA are the Balochistan Liberation Army.
Yeah.
Also, it's Bangladesh.
I mean,
it's
by
not
the way,
Bangladesh.
not dissimilar to like Israel offering healthcare to Al Nusra.
Yep.
As it was for the brief moments in time where they overtook like certain parts of Golan Heights. India, as far as I understand, according to the Hindu.com, gave BLA commanders medical treatment in India's hospitals, often under disguise or with a fake identity. So there's definitely
this is not the first time India has trained rebel groups. Just for the record, they've also trained the LTTE in Sri Lanka. This is not remotely the first time they've engaged in this behavior. Like India has also trained the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, or the Tamil Tigers as well. Again, that's another story for later, because they've trained the Tamil Tigers as well. So this is like militant groups seeking aid or seeking arms from India is not like a new thing in India's history whatsoever.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for
before we go. I have to hold you accountable for a couple of things. It is
all right. Let's hear it.
Okay. First off, it's Bangladesh. It's not Bangladesh.
I know. Bangladesh.
Yeah. Okay. You can say it in Turkish, brother. You can say it in literally. You can literally say it in Turkish and get away with it.
Bangladesh.
No, it's not Bangladesh. It's Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
Bingo. Yes, you got it. There we go. There you go.
Okay.
I promised my I
Bangladesh.
promised my I promised my Bengali chatters that I would hold you accountable for that. So
Okay. I apologize to the Bengali chatters for saying it
it's okay
wrong.
because my entire chat is Bengali, so that's
It's
why.
okay, fair. All right, what else?
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know what else. There's other shit that I need to.
You're gonna say and the chat was saying you said it wrong when you were right. Yeah. Okay. The other thing was probably that I shit on anarchists too much. So now the anarchist memes have seeped into your community when you make arguments. Is that what you're gonna say? I saw
No,
you
I
tweeted
wasn't gonna
something
say
about
that at
that.
all. It was more like, yeah, no, I mean, it's like not the biggest deal in the world, but like, yeah, I do have like I have dumbasses that come into my chat that are like that take the meme like super to heart. Like they don't realize that you're joking, and they're like they come into my chat and they're like, "Wait, what do you mean? Like, wait, people believe this shit?" And it's like it's just a little bit annoying to have to deal with this shit over and over again. That's all. Like I have people that do come into my chat and it does get a little annoying, but
Yeah.
it is like it's not the biggest deal. Like it's just me like saying,
I do always reaffirm the position that anarchists are at the forefront of mutual aid and direct
yeah, yeah, yeah.
action.
I've said that before. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've always affirmed that too. Yeah. Also, like one more thing, like you brought me on. Like this is the second time you brought me on for a topic that's not Sri Lanka. We have to have that conversation,
Oh yeah.
as
No,
Little Bear said.
yeah, 100%. But
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for coming on once again and
Thanks
enlightening
for having
us.
me. I appreciate it
All
as
right.
always.
Bye,
All right, man.
brother.
Take it easy. Bye bye.
Peace.